It's the government on one side and local promoter Steve Duncan on the other. Jamaican dancehall singer Mr. Vegas in between this time. The issue of who did what and whether or not proper procedures were followed by all involved remains a cloudy one, as both sides claim that they are in fact in the right. While the government seeks to clear the air on the allegations made against them, Mr. Duncan remains steadfast in his claims that he did what he was supposed to do. Joseph Cador takes a look at the issue of the denial of a work permit for Vegas to perform in Grenada.
The fiasco first surfaced when reports reaching GBN indicated that Jamaican reggae artist Mr. Vegas was banned from performing in Grenada. Initial speculation suggested that the government's refusal to grant a work permit was due to concerns regarding the content of one of the artist's songs. The government has since made attempts to clear the air on its action. In a release made by Minister of Labour Carl Hood, he says the government has not banned any regional artists from performing in Grenada. Minister Hood said his ministry has no difficulties with regional performers displaying their expertise and talent in Grenada. However, he says his ministry has attempted to ensure that proper procedures are followed by promoters wanting work permits for artists booked to hold concerts on the island.
As far as I know, from this ministry, there has been no artist that has been banned from Grenada. I articulated my position, and my position remains the same, that my concern has always been the respect for the office. And in meeting with the promoters, I said, these are the through which we must work. That you must give us the time to do what we're supposed to do. And please don't expect that because you promote a show that we have to agree to give the permit. In this particular instance, I went out of the country on the 12th of February. I came back in on the 17th of February. That's Wednesday the 17th. On Thursday the 18th, I saw the application for that work permit. And I also got to understand that the show has been promoted. And I said, well, we did speak about that there should not be any promotion before the work permit is granted. And so on that basis, I said, we have to put a stop to that. Because the ministry is not a rubber stamp. And so this is the basis on which I denied it.
He says the actions of certain promoters amount to attempts to manipulate the actions of the government. However, promoter Steve Duncan categorically denies such action. According to Mr. Duncan, who has been in the business for more than 13 years, his actions were no different from previous times.
I would not agree with the minister's assertion on this one, because I've been doing these work permits for a while now, and there's a general procedure where you apply for the work permits, you obtain a form which you pay for, and all the details are presented on the form, and you give the authorities the adequate time to vet the application. So in the event that there is any issues as relates to lyrics or any other issues surrounding the artist, that will be brought to your attention beforehand. They've also indicated that on applying for the work permit, promotions shouldn't start thereafter until you have some indications that the work permit would be approved. And in this case, nothing was different, except that on this occasion, we applied for the work permits a whole 30 days before the event, which is unusual. It's usually 2 weeks, and it usually takes about a week to 10 days to vet and to approve.
He says the government is at fault and is refusing to accept responsibility for its actions. He further stated that the actions of the government comes as an insult to his integrity and reputation, not just locally, but internationally. The upheaval comes on the heels of the Lenten season, where persons observing the issue reminded citizens of the need to set aside time for reflection on Jesus Christ, his suffering and his sacrifice, his life, death, burial, and resurrection. Joseph Cador, GBN News.
Well, it's over to GBN, I think, for this evening. And last evening, we asked you to share your thoughts on the issue of Mr. Vegas not being allowed to perform in Grenada due to the government's refusal to grant a work permit for the Jamaican Dancehall artists. Well, the ministry said it did not grant the permit because the promoter did not follow the proper methods outlined. However, the promoter, Steve Duncan, disputes this and says he did in fact follow all procedures. We received a lot of responses on this one, and this is what some of you had to say on the matter. Now they ban Vegas. It's something to laugh at because on Sunday 28th, there's a big bingo. Yes, people were still in the Lent season, and that's gambling. They don't ban men like Barris Hammond and others in the reggae industry because they sing positive songs. No, they don't. They preach love, 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 but not marriage before sex. What is the church saying on that? All they have to do is, one, say they can't be sung at an 18 and over party, and two, if they fail, or that should be under, and if they fail to comply with your standards, then you impose the ban on them. Other outside promoters can come here and do their stuff, but we fight our own people. Another says, as a young adult, I personally feel that government has no reason to ban an artist from entering a club which is supposed to be an adult environment. This is dictatorship. I feel that if people do not like his music, they should stay home. I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, so other people's opinion should not in any way affect whether or not I want to party and the type of music I want to listen to. I think Mr. Vegas should be granted a work permit because it's not an open environment he will be working in. It's a nightclub with strict rules and only people over 18 are admitted, and one has a choice whether or not he or she wants to attend. Firstly, I'm not a fan of dancehall music, but I see no reason why Mr. Vegas should not be allowed to perform in Grenada. Yes, it's the time of Lent, but a person cannot choose to be reverent only when the season demands it. If they do not approve of Mr. Vegas, then should they not also disapprove of some of the soca artists during Carnival? Isn't Grenada a Christian nation during Carnival when people are on the streets dancing to Hola Gal and Waka? If on an everyday basis people are listening to violent music in our Christian society, what is wrong about bringing Mr. Vegas? Yet another viewer said, I think it is wrong to forbid the Jamaican artists from entering the island to perform without a valid explanation. Many people were looking forward to attending that show. It is unfair to make such a decision. Mr. Vegas has inspirational songs that you can actually learn something from. For example, I am blessed and you're gonna need me, etc. There's nothing wrong with his wind-up song and his hot gal no fight over man. In the end, whether you tell a person to whine or not, they will. It's up to them. And women should not fight over men. If there is a particular song or songs that the minister thinks will be unhealthy to the people, then he can forbid the artist from performing that song. It doesn't matter whether the artist is allowed in the country or not. People will still listen to his music. I think he should be given a chance. The Grenadian anthem says, ever conscious of God, not ever conscious of Vegas. And finally, listen, Mr. Vegas, yes, he did make the mistake and he sang She's a Hoe, but that was like 2 years ago, so I don't think the NDC government should penalize him for this act. I think this thing is politically biased. Mr. Vegas sang gospel songs after that year, so I don't know what the people of Grenada's problem is. Give him another chance, people. Well, of course, we heard the minister's response to the issue stating that proper procedures weren't followed, and Mr. Steve Duncan's response as well, stating that he did in fact follow the procedures.